What is up, everybody? Welcome into an episode of. I haven't thought of a name for this show yet. I'm not there, but every Monday night, this will be released Tuesday morning, but every Monday night, I'll sit down with somebody different. This week, it's Chase Thomas of the Chase Thomas podcast. Really appreciate his time. I'll be back on his show Wednesday, so make sure you check that out. But a rotating cast of characters every Tuesday here on the More Important Issues YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. Sometimes it'll be Landon, some of the normal, maybe Joey. Maybe we'll get to hear from our good friend Deuce, but it'll be a rotating cast of characters kind of kicking off the week in sports. Sundays are for recaps, Mondays/Tuesdays for setting the tone. So we'll be doing that here on this show. I'll come up with a name. I don't know. Maybe submit a name. Maybe write it in the comments. DM me on Twitter. DM Landon on Twitter. Let me give you Landon's phone number. You can text him. But yeah, go check out everything More Important Issues has. Make sure you check out Chase Thomas and all he's got going on at the Sports Renaissance Man and his YouTube channel. You can follow all our socials here: TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're on them all. We're everywhere. We're on the internet. We're on the web. So make sure you guys are following along. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your support. You guys are awesome, and we're all in this together. It's been a rough weekend. I'm a Vol fan. I don't know what to say. I'm a Vol fan. It hurts at times. It's a lot of fun at times, but it's always a fun ride with you guys, so we appreciate it. We will see you guys back here on the More Important Issues YouTube channel on Thursday. Make sure you tune in. Get ready for a bye week. We will see you guys on the other side.
Home run, slam dunks, give him six. Boys at them double I, they got your big orange face. All year long is the place to be, to hear some Vols for life talking Tennessee. You can hate us if you want, but we sure ain't worried about you. We got more important issues.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into, I'm going to be honest, this is a new idea, and I don't have a name for this show yet. But we are going to kick off the week here on Monday nights. This will release Tuesday morning, weekly show where hopefully you will hear from more than just me. Joining me for the very first episode, you guys know him. You guys love him. It's Chase Thomas of the Chase Thomas podcast. Chase, appreciate you hopping on to talk a little Vols on this dreary day.
I don't think it's dreary. The sun was out. The leaves still look fally. It's a little chilly, but it's nice. I love it. I kind of like this weather. My wife and I just got back from a good late afternoon walk with the pups. No, it was a good day. It's a little bit chilly. This weekend was pretty dreary. Like yesterday.
Mine's carrying over. That's my problem. You're right. This afternoon, though, because this morning you never really saw the sun. Man, this afternoon was pretty. You're right.
Exactly. I hope the good folks here all across East Tennessee got some vitamin D before the sun went down super early. So that's getting used to that again is going to take some time for it gets dark in a hurry right now.
Yeah, not a fan of it.
No.
I liked the falling back this week. I liked my extra hour of sleep I gained where I didn't get home till about 1:30. That was nice. Yeah. But not a fan of it getting dark sooner. That is not a joy in my life is winter.
Is getting in and out of the stadium getting any better or no?
For me, it's fine. It really, I've never had any issues personally. Like G10's kind of been, that's where I go in and out of. It's been a breeze.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm going in a different way, but it doesn't. The only reason I was going in the way before is just because I just always have went that way. So
yeah,
I no longer go down that like little road next to the engineering building and then go under the stadium because you have to go through security checkpoints. So now I just essentially go down to Neyland, walk up around like between G10 and the stadium and go in G10. So
okay,
yeah, that's fine.
Well, you also, I appreciate it was unprompted that you were on Smokey Watch and
every week
you saw him up close, at least 2 run-throughs back and forth. Was he there the whole game?
My mood changed, so I stopped paying attention. So I don't know that for sure. They're not running him. So normally they'll run him to the west side and then back to the spot on the east side. They're not doing that.
Okay.
They haven't this season, unless they did it at some point later in the game that I missed.
And it's interesting, they're not showing him on the broadcast at all. They're not even, like, panning to him once, like, just to be like,
I don't know where
Smokey.
he's at on the sidelines. So I don't know
Hmm,
if they have him standing like Smokey usually does on the sidelines. I haven't looked real hard, but I haven't
hmm.
just noticed him
Interesting. I wonder if
because
he
he's
comes, like, out of the but he doesn't come out of the tunnel to run back and forth in the end zone, do you think? And then
the
goes
only
back in.
tunnel he may come out of is there's that one right behind the east side
Mm,
where there used to be a cheerleader's locker room, and I assume still is because that's where Smokey goes to change, like the mascot Smokey goes to change.
mhm.
So he may be in there before
Interesting.
touchdowns.
So he's still not 100% ready to go.
Definitely not. But hey, they're working. They're getting there.
Hmm. How about this? More likely between the two. More likely Jermod McCoy returns this season or Smokey makes it through an entire game this season.
Uh it's Smokey for sure. Jamad,
Hmm.
if I'm a Tennessee coach, I'm not letting Jamal McCoy come back. I think he was prepping and hoping for a playoff run. And I think that's awesome. I think it shows like he wanted to be a part of this team. I think now you're just, how much can you raise that draft stock? You're going to have a chance at the combine. I don't think he should. As
I
someone who
don't.
wants to see him get drafted, go early,
Well, my deal is like it would come down to what is Jermod comfortable with because I
that
mean,
too. Yeah,
if Jermod wants to come back, man, you're paying Jermod. Like if
sure.
Jermod wants to come back, hey man, if you want to risk it and come back and put on some more tape, because there is value to putting on tape to show like where you're at in your recovery post ACL. So I don't know. I think there's value on both ends, and obviously he's a competitor and has been working to get back, and that's respectable and wants to be with his teammates and with his guys. And I mean, he still might want to beat Florida. He might want to come back and make sure he's responsible for keeping Vanderbilt out of the college football playoff in the final week of the season. Like I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do, but I wouldn't like make the choice for him. I would just be like, man, if you want to come back, if not, we totally understand too.
I don't think you're wrong at all. I think if I'm an athletic trainer, if I'm a coach, I think you have to be extra careful of protecting him from himself. I think that was honestly, I think that was even more the case if you were making a playoff run because he'd probably be
Mm,
itching more to get back. So that's probably not as much of a concern of protecting him from himself. But yeah, you want to be. I think you just want to be really cautious in how you do it. But I guess when I say I just don't think there'll be a big push I mean, maybe from Tennessee side because you're so thin at
yeah.
corner, but not as big of a push when the ability to get into the playoff is gone.
Yeah. It's over, Caleb.
Yeah.
They're not making the playoffs, which is
It,
funny because I shouldn't say funny, which is interesting because it's just, I think the Georgia thing changed everybody. And the expectations just ramped up so much more because you should have beaten Georgia at home, and you see where Georgia is at this point, 7-1, and just keep surviving these one-score games, and you can't put down Georgia ultimately. But I mean, I had before the year in my preview 8-4. Like I thought this was an
sure.
8-4 team, and they're trending in the 8-4, 9-3 direction. It just hurts because they were so close to Georgia. They've kind of overachieved for the most part of this year,
Hmm.
but now they're kind of coming back down to earth. And that home loss against Oklahoma on Saturday was just brutal. But I also just throughout the year, I just did not think this was a college football playoff team or a team that I thought this was kind of a not a rebuilding year, more of a retooling year. I thought
Sure.
this was a gap year, but I also think they kind of burned a great schedule because next year's schedule is just gonna be so much harder than what they were gifted this year and last year. And ultimately, they're not gonna have a lot to show for it, which is disappointing.
Yeah. And you hit on a few things I had questions about. I wanted to ask if your expectations change because I don't think and it sounds like they have at
Mhm.
least a little bit. And I don't think that's unfair. I don't think anyone should it's not good if you keep the expectations the same as you go through the year. Like
Mhm.
it's not great to just be who we knew who you were. And so I think if anyone's going, well, don't change them. They're doing what you thought they should do. Well, when you go and play as good as you did against Georgia, at least on the offense side of the football, well, those expectations are going to change. I mean, you outplay Alabama, but you can't finish when it's important. And so Alabama looks like one of the top 4 teams in college football right now. It shouldn't be unfair to say, well, if you can piece things together, because yeah, at the beginning of the year, everyone had Oklahoma as a swing game. Didn't know which way it was going to go. Oklahoma doesn't look as great, but even for me, this game was a swing game going into it. I felt confident if Tennessee's offense could get going, but Tennessee can't find a way to play complementary football. And that's kind of been a trend in the Josh Heupel era. It's hard to just think of too many games where Tennessee put together an excellent game or even a great game in all three phases. And do you think that's accurate, that that's been something he's lacked?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just so many different competing thoughts I have about this team right now, which is like, and to your point, I agree where I think whenever you're presented with new information, you should be flexible to change your opinion on things. I think that's part of being human, is like when you're presented with new facts and your preconceived notions are proven to be incorrect,
Right.
or your projection we can see is like not reality, then you should adjust. And it's funny because I was more bullish on the defense than the offense coming into the year. And obviously, with how the season's played out, outside of this past week, because I thought the defense was a lot better than the offense this week. But I do think the offense by and large, like I think we got the best version of Joey possible. Like Josh Heupel is squeezing every last ounce
Sure.
of quality quarterback play from Joey Aguilar this season, and should be commended for it. I mean, he revitalized the offense, right? Like everyone was hearing that like things were going to be a little bit different, that they realized after the last 2 years offensively, they had to make some adjustments. They adjusted. Like the offensive staff deserves credit for moving off the wide splits all the time and adjusting and creating those explosive chunk plays in the passing game that we haven't seen in over 2 years. But there are some, I don't know. I think the game management stuff is still very frustrating with Heupel in year 5. I think this is the worst loss in the Heupel era, I would say, just
Okay.
because Oklahoma, I do not think is a very good football team. I
No.
think that was just an ugly, ugly loss that you just, I don't know. It just, they feel a lot more like Kentucky than they do Georgia
Mhm.
and Alabama and the top dogs. I don't know if you agree with that, but I'm not saying they're as bad as Kentucky. I'm just saying that like defense first, some Mateer did some stuff on Saturday, but Mateer was not shredding them, especially in the first half. And the
Re
receivers, I think, leave a lot to be desired. The offense is not
Really,
that explosive.
outside of that 3rd and 16 conversion,
Yeah.
you contained John Mateer pretty well.
Yeah.
He had a few plays, but I think that was really his only explosive play, was that 21-yard run.
Yeah. And the biggest surprise to me, I think, on Saturday was that, because I was really bullish on the trenches for Tennessee coming into the year. I thought this was going to be the strongest offensive line that Tennessee has had to this point, going back to 2022 probably. And early on, it was the case, but I think the mid-season adjustment of David Sanders, and this is not a David Sanders problem,
Mhm.
but because he missed that first couple games and everyone got comfortable with Sham at left guard, Wendell Moy at right guard, Perry at right tackle, and everything. Like that was a well-oiled machine where Tennessee did not have the sack problems they've been having the last couple games. Like they're just shuffling so much where Moy's on one side, Sham's on one side, Perry's at guard or tackle, and everyone's moving around so much. Satterwhite's even getting rotated at center. It's like there's way too much rotation on the offensive
Mhm.
line, and they can't run the football. They, like on Saturday, they really, really struggled there. And that's been a big surprise because this is going to be the worst rushing season in the Heupel era statistically. So I don't know. There's like anything else. I think there are some pluses and minuses. I think Tennessee's made some strides. I'm a lot more of a believer in Heupel being able to continually put out elite offenses at Tennessee because he has made that adjustment that we were waiting on the last 2 years. So I am bullish on that. But I mean, you got to figure some stuff out down the stretch with the offensive line because you got to stick to something. I don't know what it is, but you got to stick to something on the offensive line. Bullish on the tight ends, like Ethan Davis had his best game as of all on Saturday. Feel good about that. Receivers, if they're all back outside of Brazel, I think you're going to be really good there. Tristan Keys coming in. I feel really good about the passing game. But I'm disappointed in the defensive line. The defensive line has really let Tennessee down the last couple weeks. And I was someone who, for the year, I think you and I talked, where I was like, I think this is a B+ defensive
Mhm.
line. And I think a lot of people look at like Eason and Bailey and Moy, and they're like, yeah, they got some depth. And then the young guys, like the true freshmen, like the super young players that we all like. Like we like David Hobbs, we like Ethan Utley, we like a lot of these guys, Marion Dye. And the problem is they're all really young. And the linebackers we
Sure.
all like are very young. And it just the defense is the one to me that I am just so curious about how what they do this offseason, because I don't think it all falls on Tim Banks. But I do kind of wonder, because it's kind of, I don't know where you're at. I'm kind of curious. There's going to be a lot of high quality defensive coordinators available. Like, I don't think Heupel should be on the hot seat. I don't think that conversation should really be entertained anytime soon. But I do think you should press Heupel after this season and like, hey, you have to make some adjustments around your staff. Like, it doesn't mean you have to clean house around your staff, but you do need to make some adjustments and make some hard choices for the first time in your tenure, because you haven't fired anybody, and that's good. Like, I think that's a commendable part of Josh Heupel.
Sure.
But there's a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball where it's like, man, you've got the offense stuff figured out, but you can upgrade. If you know you can spend the money, you know you can get someone better. And I think Tim Banks is still a good defensive coordinator, but do you think you can get someone better? And if you do think you can get somebody better that is available this cycle, because there's a lot of good options, you might have to make some tough choices this offseason. I don't know. Do you agree?
I think that's the case with both offense and defensive coordinators. I like Tim Banks. I think he's done a better job than what we've seen from Joey Halzle. Because there's something missing that was there in the goalish Heupel era, where the critical plays, it just doesn't feel, nothing feels right. Nothing feels comfortable. Feels like they're going away from what has been successful. But I also think a lot of it, and I think a lot of the problem with Tim Banks, and some of this is because like you mentioned, there's just a lot of young guys. I think just flat out execution is the problem, which is one of the questions I want to ask you. Like, how do you're just going to have to just say, this is what our execution is going to be this year? Is that like, are you going to fix that in the last 3 games? I know a lot of people don't like throwing to Jack Van Doorslayer on that 4th down, but he's a good tight end. He's a good pass catcher, and he was wide open.
I mean, that should have gone to Davis, though, with how the game was going. Like, I wouldn't have trusted Kittelman in that spot. Like, Kittelman's had some drop issues
Davis
this year.
has dropped plenty of passes this year too.
Who?
Davis.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, Davis had a great game. Like, Davis was cooking. Like, that, I would have.
I'm not saying there's not better plays or better players to go to in that scenario, because I think there are.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of areas on the offense. I think you can point at just about any wide receiver, any running back, any tight end, and say they failed executing plenty of times this year.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's just of that Jack Van Doorslayer. I don't think it's just that 4th down conversion. We've just failed to execute a lot of times, a lot of critical areas. It just feels like whatever we ran right there wasn't going to work, whether it was a bad play call or execution. We can't hit in the critical moments.
My dream, and I don't know if Heupel would do it, but he's like, we'll see if they keep Dave Aranda for another year. But man, if you can get Jake Spavital, OC, and just let him call plays, Sawyer Robertson, elite throwing the ball down the field the last 2 years, like that's been a great hire for Aranda. Like the problem with Baylor's been the defense, oddly enough. But Spavital, I'm a big Spavital guy. I think his offense, like, just hand the keys to somebody, because Heupel, I think, has to get to that point going into year 6 where you've got to become more of a CEO. Like, doesn't mean you have to take your hands entirely off the offense, but coaches who call offensive plays don't win national titles. Like, that's part of the deal. And that's why Sark is getting the same kind of heat at Texas. You know, it's like, eventually you do have to become a CEO type coach. Like, Ryan Day had to eventually hire Chip Kelly so he could become the CEO, and they won a national title. And I think that's part of it. It's like, you don't have to not have your fingerprints all over the offense.
You need to be in that room. That's your game. But
you're not like so focused on calling play after play. Like, you need to be focused on, what does the time look like? What does my clock management look like? What do I like? You have to be thinking big picture and move to that point, because you're in year 6, man. Like, you've been a college football head coach for going on almost 10 years now. So I think he has to make that. I think that's hard for a lot of coaches. Feels like it's harder for offensive coaches than defensive coaches, but I think
I think it's easier to call defensive plays as a head coach than, like you said, vice versa, because there's not as much of you trying to control the game from the defensive scenario. So that's not as big of a concern.
Yeah.
I think where it hurts defensive, and you see with Venables, is he almost seemed, and it's frustrated a lot of Oklahoma fans, he's almost seemed to not care about the offense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, It doesn't. I think I saw a post where he was actually yelling. It was a wide receiver on that punt play where they had 13 guys on the field, and they're like, he's finally coaching the offense. So I was like, well, it's not the offense, but I see where your point is. Like you want him getting on to offensive players, and you want him to seem like he's involved in. So I think that's part of it. Why? I mean, Nick Saban was more defensive minded. He wasn't calling defensive plays, but that was his bread and butter. And so I think it's just easier. I don't know. I think either way, you don't want to be calling plays as a head coach because like you said, it just takes your focus away from the aspects that the head coach needs to be focused on.
Well, I think it's okay for early on, like when you're building your culture, building your structure, and you gain that trust of someone beneath you to call plays.
Mhm.
Like Mark Richt eventually was allowing Mike Bobo to call plays for many years. I mean, you look at Nick Saban. I mean, obviously empowering Kirby Smart over the years, running his defense, and obviously you look at Kurt Signetti at Indiana. He's not calling offensive plays. He's a CEO coach, number 2 in the country. Ryan Day.
I mean, Urban Meyer with Ryan Day.
Yeah.
And then the Florida OC during those big runs.
Oh, Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen. Before, I mean, he was there for the 2 national championships.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I just look at I think you've got to kind of evolve there a little bit. Like the sky is not falling with Tennessee football. Like I'm
I
not.
don't think so either.
I think it's fine, but I do think Heupel is kind of at an inflection point in some ways where I don't think he's going to be able to run it back as is. Like I think you're going to have to make some tweaks. You don't have to tear the whole house down, but you do need to make some tweaks because you're close. But I think next year, what's so interesting to me is how they approach the final 3 games here. But also, like, I think I wonder how much fans understand that, like, I think it would be the all-time surprise if Tennessee went out and got a high-dollar transfer portal quarterback this cycle. Because you're paying so much money to George McIntyre and Faison Brandon coming in that it's just, you can't manage your roster like that. That's roster.
Your money needs to be spent in the secondary and the trenches.
Right.
That's where your money has to
100%.
I think you'd go out and try to find a quarterback, but it can't be your focus. It can't.
No, and I mean, it has to be. It's someone who is going to be someone comes in there like, well, I know I'm not going to start.
Yeah.
Like, because
and you want to compete, but not the expectation that you're not coming in as QB1.
Correct. And there's not that many. There's not that many guys. So I think they're going to be hard pressed to find that guy. But I mean, look around the SEC right now. Who's winning as a young player? I mean, look at they're Ohio State with Julian Sayin, but it's Ohio State. Like that's an outlier. And you're seeing Bryce Underwood. He's not lighting it up at Michigan. And you look around the SEC right now, the best teams, Gunnar Stockton waited his turn for a long time. Ty Simpson waited his turn for a long time. Arch waited 2 years, 3 years. I mean, you look at John Mateer at Oklahoma before he got hurt. Like obviously an older player. Joey Aguilar, older player this year. I mean, before the year before, Garrett Nussmeier was struggling with. I mean, that seems more injury than just talent.
Trinidad Chambliss is a super senior.
I mean, won a national title at D2 Ferris State. So you look at the top of this conference. It's older quarterback. So are fans going to be okay with either a redshirt freshman George McIntyre or a true freshman Faison Brandon going through, taking those lumps with a harder schedule and going like 7-5 next year? Because if I had to make a prediction on next year, if you're going redshirt freshman quarterback with that schedule, I think 7-5, 8-4 is probably where I would lean. And I wonder how fans are going to take that in this new era of college football, because I think that's fair. And I don't think that's a bad year if you went 7-5, 8-4 with a redshirt freshman quarterback. But like, this was your last, like, kind of make the playoff and like give you more breathing room next year, to have kind of a rebuilding year, because you're going to play a super young quarterback. And now you're not really going to have that. Now you might have back-to-back 8-4, 7-5 type years. And context, I think a lot of fans will not look at as much. So I don't know. I think they really need to finish strong. Heupel and company really need to win these final 3. But where are you at? Because I don't think they're winning out. I think they're losing at least one more.
I think from the evidence I've seen of this team, I think they lose to Florida and Vanderbilt. I think we talked about it last week. I think that stadium will be empty the day after Thanksgiving, or 2 days after Thanksgiving. I think they will roll over dead, and Diego Pavia will come in with a chip on his shoulder, and that team will rally around him. And unless Tennessee responds in the same manner, They lose that game. I don't foresee this team being able to rally and win in the swamp against a pretty much dead Florida team. I mean, they had to muster up all they could against Georgia, and you put up a good fight. Like, you fought till the bell rang, and I foresee a similar situation to Tennessee, but I also think if similar to this Oklahoma game, if you go score 14 early, you put them away. But can you do that? I don't foresee it happening, and I don't see you finishing out. You did it. You've done it against bad teams, but this team's not Mississippi State. This team's not Florida's not Arkansas. They're more talented, and so I don't know. I don't feel good about our chances, and for me, it's frustrating. I was going to ask you about your vibe check, and I think you're a little bit higher than me. But I mean, mine is just I've seen this story so many times with Tennessee football that it's just becoming frustrating, and it's becoming frustrating because us fans are asked to invest more and more emotionally, more and more with monetarily, and it's not paying off, and it's incredibly. And I get you're not going to go to the playoffs every year. Like, I'm not of that expectation, but that was just it was a pitiful performance for Saturday. And I mean, there's a lot of context around it. You had a kicker come in and stroke 3 50-plus yarders, and they barely went in too. Like, that changes the course of the game if they fall a yard shorter.
Well, that goes back to the Heupel CEO stuff where not accepting that penalty, I'll never agree with it. You should have pushed him back, especially because the defense was playing well. Again, context matters. The defense was playing well in the first half. I would have pushed them back to 3rd and 17 and out of field goal range because you also knew this kid could kick. Like, you knew he had a leg.
I don't. At the time, I said decline it and give yourself make that kid hit it. That was his first one of the night. And I watched him in warmups, and he was barely making them from 50.
Interesting.
50 to he was warming up at the 50 to 55 range. I would say when Venables asked him his yardage, he probably told him 55 was his max. Just going off of watching him kick. And so in my mind, I was thinking, no, just make him hit it. Now, retroactively, I agree with you. But at the time, I thought, no, make him your defense. That's where they give up third downs, is those long ones. They can stop them on 3rd and short. 3rd and longs where they get throttled. But I agree with you. You take that penalty now, and I think I would say he should have taken it in that moment. I would have said that if I hadn't. I kind of overthought it, and he probably did too.
I was mad. I was hot. That wasn't a hindsight 2021. I was hot. I was like, that just you can't. What are we doing, man? Like, then what are we doing with your defense if you don't trust your defense to get off the field on 3rd and 17?
To be fair,
like, what are we doing?
Stats tell you don't trust them.
But I mean, in that game, you should have. And it's like, okay, if you don't trust your defense to get off the field on 3rd and 17 or to keep them then you got to do some soul searching.
There needs to be a lot of looking in the mirror this offseason. A lot of looking in the mirror.
Did they announce when Johnny Knoxville came out? Did they say South Doyle? Did your beloved?
Well, he's South Young. He went to South Young. They did not announce that, unfortunately. Very strange pregame altogether. By the way.
Oh, they had a lot of stars out. I saw.
Yeah, they did. Shout out to Leanne. I love Leanne Morgan.
Yeah.
She is one of my favorite people on this planet.
Yeah.
Have
you seen her perform before or no?
I've seen her specials. I've not watched her. I've not gone and seen her in person.
I don't know. I assume she's been here. I haven't seen.
Yeah,
her.
She's in Knoxville pretty often.
Okay. No, I meant like for a special or done a set.
Yeah. She's in she's done the Tennessee fairly recently.
Okay.
And then she does. I mean, she performs at a lot of churches, and I'm sure that's about to change the bigger she gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's in the area quite a bit.
I saw Sam Morrell at the Bijou a few months back. It's very funny.
I've been to a lot of comedy shows. I love the Bijou. It's one of my favorite venues.
Theater is cool, but I think the Bijou is better for a comedy special.
I'm sure.
Like
it's tighter environment.
Theater is kind of awkward. I don't know.
No.
Both the Nutcracker last year or 2 years ago. My wife dragged me to the Nutcracker at Tennessee Theater.
Seeing any show at the Tennessee is a treat. I love the Tennessee Theater. It's
all right. I'm tagging you in for the next. No offense to musicals and everything else, but it was tough for me. Caleb,
I'm not a fan of the Nutcracker.
You are a fan or not?
I'm not.
Yeah.
But I've seen Les Mis. I've seen
Beauty
and the Beast, and I've seen Hamilton in the Tennessee. And
my wife really wants to go to Hamilton. Was Hamilton good?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
How long is it?
It's a normal musical, probably about 3 hours. Les Mis is exceptionally long. If you can't sit through long, do not go to Les Mis. I took a girl that I was dating who was not into musicals that much, and it's a lot of singing, which is a musical. It's expected, but she was like, it was good, I guess, but it was just a lot.
I'm just not a
And it's
musical
long.
guy. I'm not a music guy. I don't know. It's just not. It's not me.
I wish I just had the time to go to just Broadway shows all the time.
Interesting. I would never have guessed that about you, Caleb.
Yep.
Have you been to a Broadway show in New York?
No. I've only been to.
You gotta go, man.
I know. I've never been to New York City.
Yeah, you gotta make that happen.
I do.
New York's fun.
I bet I'd love it. I'm sure I would.
I think you would. I mean, everything I'm learning about you in the last 2 minutes, I think you're all in. You gotta make that happen, especially next couple months here when it's cool.
That is my New York trip. I want to go wintertime.
There you go.
Christmas
make it happen,
time.
Man.
Yeah. Like you only live once. I mean, now that I don't care about Tennessee football, I can.
Yeah, you have the time. Like you don't have to worry about like, playoffs. It's like the whole Mora playoffs.
And I can't even watch them on TV anymore. So, I mean.
Oh, that's right. I'm a direct TV guy. I've been unaffected by this.
I'm about to get back to that. So.
There you go. I like direct TV.
I don't know. I'm ready to cancel everything Disney. I'm out on the mouse.
You're
having millionaires trying to shill for me to pay more, begging YouTube TV to make me pay them more money is insane. That is an insane move. That is a let them eat cake. Speaking of Les Mis and the French Revolution, that is a let them eat cake moment. I mean, my word. We're living in, this is dystopian for sure. Seeing Kirk Herbstreit tweet that from his private jet actually made me think I was in another life. Crazy town. Chase, where can everyone find you at? Listen to you, read your work.
Yeah. Chase on Podcast on YouTube. Check us out there. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes Monday through Friday. You'll get Caleb and Landon and who knows who else on Wednesdays. We tape them on Tuesday nights. So Alex Arcus also jumping in with us, but all kinds of different awesome guests each and every day on weekdays. And then sportsrenaissanceman.com for all my Tennessee writing. So writing there every day as well. Just did a big piece on the biggest unknowns that I'm most curious about for Tennessee men's hoops starting here in 30 minutes as of tonight. So I'm excited to see games that count and what Rick Barnes has got cooking with Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie and company inside Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena. Always easy to get out.
Speaking of shills, listen to this.
Hey, it's great to come correct. What have I always said, Caleb Mitchell? It's that you can't go wrong with the Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Sure.
Caleb Mitchell, but they can do all those good things. And I was about to close the pod. Like
that's fine. I was gonna let
that?
You. Like as you started that, I was gonna let you.
I've hosted a billion pods, and we are literally hosting a pod, or we're doing a pod tomorrow night, and I just almost did my wrap up pod.
I would have loved it. You can find us tomorrow night, or I guess Wednesday morning. I can't keep my date straight. Wednesday morning on the Chase Thomas podcast. So listen here, listen there. We appreciate you guys. Chase, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you tomorrow and then not next week, a few weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Caleb.